footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Tyler Merkovich, alongside Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you our 2010 season preview for the Cincinnati Bengals. 2009's Hard Knocks edition right here. 10-6, surprise team right here. Started 9-3, but they faltered down the stretch thanks to an anemic offense, only 19 points per game. That was 22nd. Particular passing offense. They need Carson Palmer. They need to get him weapons, and they addressed that. But headlines this year: keeping Lewis. This reminds me of Tom Coughlin. Like, he was on the hot seat, then they keep him, then they win the Super Bowl. Same thing with Lewis, hot seat. They come back, they're really encouraged by him, and they're going to retain him, of course. Injuries last year killed them down the stretch, and depth. So Carson Palmer, 42-39 career record. They had the 9th rush deep offense in the NFL at 128.5 points per game, thanks to a resurrected career by Cedric Benson. Has really found a home here. But look out for Bernard Scott. He's also a good second-year player. He's going to give them good depth at running back. The SEC packed offensive line. They have depth there. They were injured, but now they have depth. They got Andrew Whitworth, who found a spot, and Bobby Williams. They re-signed at right guard, and Andre Smith. I mean, he wasn't even in the equation last year, but he still filled in good as a backup. He'll start at right tackle. He's got tremendous upside. They were 24th in sacks allowed, so they kept Palmer clean. And Antonio Bryant, they bring in across from Chad Ochocinco, and they draft Jermaine Gresham, first round out of Oklahoma, to give him a weapon, because he was throwing to guys like Daniel Coates and J.P. Fauci over the middle. So this is really going to help Palmer out.
I think Palmer is an elite quarterback. Contrary to what a lot of people think, they're not sold on Palmer. I think he's an elite quarterback. It's the reason why he went #1 overall. So he just has to stay healthy. I question whether or not he was truly healthy last year, handing the ball off a little bit weird. You know, how was that shoulder, that elbow? So that's the thing. Is he's going to be healthy? If his health is important. If he's healthy, the Bengals can go to the Super Bowl. He's that type of quarterback. He's an elite player. About as elite of a player they had since Boomer Esiason. So Carson Palmer's a guy that, if he's healthy, they're going to be fine. Now, running back, I love their depth. You mentioned Bernard Scott. Cedric Benson runs like a man with a purpose. He runs with a purpose. And if he can continue to run the football like that, the Bengals are going to be a tough team to beat, because he doesn't fumble. And also the fact that he just has to stay healthy. Bernard Scott is a guy that could jitterbug, make people miss, and also help out on kickoff returns. So he's versatile, athletic.
Well, you look at the offensive line, it's just SEC packed. But can these other guys step up? Lavernius Coles is out, which I think is a huge upgrade for Bryant, because he really did not look himself late in his career last year. Andre Caldwell, he'll be fighting for a spot. They bring in Matt Jones, free agent. They also draft Jordan Shipley and Desmond Briscoe to fight for a spot. So will he have the weapons this year? Is this offense going to open up? Because they're really atrocious. It hurt their red zone TD percentage. They were tied for 18th, just around 50%. So, I mean, with weapons, it's going to open up the offense. They need to really get that pass.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. You look at Ochocinco. The problem was they didn't have a deep threat. They didn't have a guy that commanded the third person on the defense. They didn't have a slot wide receiver. Now you corrected that with Shipley. You also corrected that with Gresham, a guy that can control the middle. So now you got Shipley, Gresham, bringing Matt Jones, if he can resurrect his career, a guy that has a big body, may see a little bit of action at tight end as well too. You mentioned Briscoe, guy that's 6'3", out of Kansas, always made big plays for the Jayhawks, so he's going to help make big plays. And Bryant, a guy that can get deep, physical, athletic, and acrobatic, can make catches, and also plays with a chip on his shoulder. So passing football won't be a problem. They have weapons now. The O-line is going to be solid. Bobby Williams is probably the most underrated guard in the NFL.
That's a big re-signing for them right there. Defensive side of the ball, Mike Zimmer, a great year at defensive coordinator. 4th total defense, 7th in rush defense, 6th in passing. So even in the secondary, they were doing it. The secondary is strong. Defensive line kind of faded out because Antoine Odom had 8 sacks in the first 6 games of the season until he hurt his Achilles. He was out for the year. Robert Geathers, the other defensive end, and they need to replace Sean Smith, who left the team. But they have guys like Damata Pecco, Tank Johnson also will probably see a lot of time like he did last year. Pat Sims, a backup, the guy from Auburn, and a guy who's versatile on the line to play, and their tackle, Jonathan Fanene also. So they got these 3 guys, these 3 Samoans on defense. We'll talk about the linebacker, Maialuga, in a little bit. What do you think about their defensive line?
The D-line is deep and talented. You mentioned a lot of guys up the middle. I'm mentioning guys at the end. You can't forget about Michael Johnson, defensive end.
Georgia Tech. He fell late in the draft.
Right, and they got a steal out of him. You mentioned if Odom is healthy, they're coming off the end with Odom. They also drafted Dunlap, a guy that's versatile, can play inside or outside. So you can bring in Dunlap to help that depth along the defensive line. So the D-line is deep and talented. Pecco is a guy that I like a lot. Tank Williams, a guy that's underrated, guy that can stop the run, also provide push up the middle. So they have a lot of talent, and they're also very, very athletic and deep on that defensive line.
Well, Keith Rivers and Luga on the outside, and middle linebacker Donnie Jones. I mean, this guy is very underrated. No one gives him credit, but he always leads teams in tackles. And backup, they got Rashad Genty and Abdul Hodge. You know, they give these guys like Hodge second chances, and they turn out to be pretty good players. So they got pretty good depth. But it's a secondary. Leon Hall, Jonathan Joseph. These two guys might be one of the best tandems in the league. And they got Morgan Trent, who really came into his own as a nickel guy. And David Jones is another big guy. And they pick up Adam Pac-Man Jones, who could maybe make the team. And he'll fight Trent for that nickel spot. So that should be interesting. I thought safety would be a concern, but they threw two guys into the fire last year. And Duke Way, he really stepped up last year at safety. And Tom Nelson. But they picked up Gabriel Wilson, and they retained Roy Williams. So we'll see what happens here with their safety spot. I think it's better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I like their defense as a whole. Linebacker, I think Brandon Johnson makes more plays than Keith Rivers. So I think Brandon Johnson will see more playing time until Rivers gets to where he was drafted at and makes plays like that. Also, you guys want to keep an eye on linebacker Roderick McElroy, a rookie out of Texas. A guy that's going to come in and play right away as well to provide depth on it at their linebacking spot. Their cornerbacks, best duo in the AFC, I believe, with Hall and Joseph. These guys are scrappy guys, can make plays on the ball, and they also know they have great body position. They know how to lock up wide receivers and play position, almost like posting up in basketball. They do a great job of that. You mentioned their safeties, Trent and Dukeway, and also keep an eye on Brandon G out of Wake Forest. Another guy is going to come in rookie and play right away. He may battle for that nickel spot. Pac-Man Jones, another guy that can battle for that nickel spot. So depth is now in the secondary as it is in the defensive line. So they're pretty solid.
Yeah, they're building really depth.
They're pretty good in the secondary.
They were injured a lot last year, and they got that basketball mentality. Joseph and Hall, they get beat deep. Guess what? I'm coming right back at you.
Yep,
they're gonna stick with it.
You got to have that type of mentality when you play in secondary, especially when you have a defense that get after the quarterback. Those two cornerbacks, they're really solid. Nobody talks about those guys, but they help keep that defense going. Those two guys are probably two of the best cornerbacks in the league. They need to be talked about a lot. That duo is outstanding for the Cincinnati Bengals.
And special teams coordinator Darren Simmons, okay, but Shane Graham, their kicker, killed them last year in that playoff game against the Jets, which they lost. So they bring in Mike Nugent. He'll battle Dave Rayner. Let's see who will be the kicker. Punter Kevin Huber is okay. And they were tied for 21st in kick return, but great in the punt return. They were second there. Bernard Scott, 31.5 average last year as a kick returner, so maybe he found the spot there. And Quan Cosby, punt returner, but look for Pac-Man Jones if he makes a team to get back there also. So special teams is okay.
Yeah, you look at is Mike Nugent ready to take the job back? You know, Mike Nugent flamed out in New York, but can he come in and take that job? Because Graham really killed him in the playoffs. But punt return, you mentioned Pac-Man Jones. Also keep an eye on Jordan Shipley, other guy that has some quickness, can make you miss in the phone booth. That can he can return punts as well too and kick. So I think the special teams, the return aspect is going to be solid. They have to really do a better job on their coverage units, like getting downfield and making tackles. Don't allow teams to start in the 30 plus. So you have to show up that, and Mike Nugent really has to step up and take the job, or Shane Graham has to forget about what happened last year and step up and be consistent, consistent kicker that they need in the clutch.
Well, Cincinnati fans haven't heard this, but they're here to stay. They're building depth. Should be a good year for the Bengals. For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan.